And the idea is not good. So alternative viewpoints being discredited, that's a big one to look out for.
You can actually take the same link from your YouTube video and post it on the RTS platform, and it'll lift the shadow banning. Sometimes YouTube will only show less than 1% of the views that are actually being viewed.
This is a good example here of one of my videos where it shows 419 views, but somehow 3,000 likes. I've literally caught them sabotaging my views.
In terms of conspiracy theory content generally, our goal is to promote authoritative content to our users. So we have two principles that guide the way here. That's the first one, is we want to provide users with authoritative, trustworthy information.
I'm sorry to cut you off. I only have a minute and a half, and I don't really need to hear what you're trying to provide. I want to know how you're dealing with all these conspiracy theorists on your platform.
So the first way is by demoting low-quality content and promoting more authoritative content, and the second is by providing more transparency for users. So we're introducing boxes that provide factual information at the top of results that have shown themselves to turn up a lot of information that is counterfactual, such as searching for the Earth is flat on YouTube, where you see a lot of
Your response is to put a box saying, nope, the Earth is not flat.
Correct.
Okay.
So cross-check timelines of events and notice if critics are labeled conspiracists or if algorithms are suppressing some kind of specific search, and this is a big one, especially in today's time.
This should go without saying, but I will go ahead and say it anyway. Whenever you Google flat Earth, all of the information is completely one-sided. It's either misinformation, a strawman fallacy, controlled opposition, or information that's steering you away from flat Earth. It's not giving you any credible content from a real flat earther's perspective. Why isn't there better content like True Earth Wiki that comes up where you can look up whatever you want regarding flat Earth that will give you a credible resource? It's because they are hiding the truth from you. That should be very easy to understand.
So next, be alert to rapid compliance shifts. This one is scary and it's happening every day. PSYOPs create urgency to drive rapid compliance. And these tactics are stuff like emotional appeals, staged group behaviors, or false consensus. For this, it's really important to slow down and resist the pressure to act, to question the conformity as much as possible, and test the message, engaging the skeptics there.
Then we have this controlled opposition named Robbie Davidson, who is now coming out on his Facebook saying that he is going back to the globe. If that is not a rapid compliance shift, I don't know what is.
Study the timing of the events, and this one's huge, especially right now. Timing is everything. Ask yourself, why is this happening now? So what other events or scandals might this thing be distracting everybody from? So look for very coincidental timing with unrelated major news stories or political movements. PSYOPs can very often be smoke screens.
Ironically, right after the final experiment is finished and all the information starts blowing up, LA starts burning down to the point where only some of the trees burned, but somehow was melting aluminum down to a liquid.
Coincidence? Probably not. The next thing I want you to do is to sharpen your brain to start hearing and understanding these manipulation tactics. And one of the biggest things that you can do, the most effective way that I could train you right now, just you and me, is to teach your brain to recognize logical fallacies. So let's go through these, because PSYOPs very often use these flawed arguments to convince people. And if you know how to spot them, it makes you a lot harder to manipulate. Let me give you 10 of these so that your brain gets hardwired to start seeing everything a whole lot differently. So the first one that you're going to see all the time, appeal to emotion. So this uses fear and anger and hope to bypass logic.
This exodus will continue until a flat earther can show how TFE's experiments and observations can work on a flat Earth. But instead of doing this, the flat Earth community as a whole is taking the position that we did not actually go to Antarctica, or that we did not see the real sun, or that there is no 24-hour sun in Antarctica, despite the fact that we all witnessed it with our own eyes. They are arguing that we were in a giant studio filled with LED screens, or that the sun was created with a giant laser pointer to fool us.
No one ever said that.
Next is the straw man argument. This misrepresents somebody's argument so they can attack it better.
Don't let anybody trick you that flat Earth is a flat disk in outer space.
So somebody might say they oppose the lockdowns because they don't care about lives. Think about that one. Number 3 is the bandwagon fallacy. So this claims that something is true because everyone supports it. And this is, you hear this all the time. Millions of people agree with X, Y, and Z. You should agree with it too.
I had asked you to debate one of them flat Earth guys.
No, I don't. I can't. No.
I know. We talked about it, and we were going to have him on Skype.
No, that is something that should not be debated. Does not belong in front of an audience getting debated.
Only 64% are convinced that the world is a ball. The world is a circle, that the world is a, what is it, a spheroid? Only 64% are convinced that the world is a ball.
Please don't cry like that. Please don't, Brennan.
Number 4 is the false dilemma. This presents only 2 extreme options and it ignores alternatives. So it's the either you're with us or you're against us fallacy there.
It doesn't matter when there's a 24-hour sun in Antarctica. If there is, that falsifies flat Earth and it confirms the globe.
Number 5 is the ad hominem attacks. This is the attack of the person and not the argument. Be very observant for this. So this is when you hear you can't trust her, she's not a scientist. You can't do X because they're not qualified based on X. Ad hominem is very common and I want your brain to be able to spot it.
Why do people think the Earth is flat? The Earth is clearly round, right? That's why we have the horizon, time zone, seasons, day and night cycle. We f***ing seen it from space. We know more about the curvature of the Earth than the vast majority of things in our world. So how can someone get confused about the shape of the Earth? Well, the answer is actually more annoying than you'd think. Flat Earthers aren't coming to the conclusion that the Earth is flat the same way we came to understand that the Earth is round. Scientific experiments, general observations, and mathematical equations all prove to us that the Earth was round. But Flat Earthers' belief isn't based on evidence, it's based on distrust. They believe that people in power are lying to them, that experts are full of shit. There is no actual evidence that proves the Earth is flat. The whole conspiracy is based solely on the distrust of authority. That's it. And hey, I told you the answer was annoying.
Number 6 is appeal to authority. And this is a claim that something is true because an authority figure said so. So like Dr. X supports it, so it's absolutely right. You have to trust the science.
We should speak of seeking evidence that disfavors the hypothesis that the Earth is flat, of which there is plenty, starting with the historical evidence about how stellar constellations shift if you travel, how the length of shadows changes, to Newton's 1/r² force law, that is the law for a sphere, not a disk, not to mention Einstein and gravitational redshift and the perihelion precision of Mercury, and so on and so forth. The problem that flat earthers have is that they cannot do most of these observations themselves. So if you buy the idea that it's only your personally collected evidence that you should accept, then it seems you cannot refute the idea that the Earth is flat.
Number 7 is the slippery slope. These are claims that one action is going to lead to some extreme negative outcome. So you've heard this before. Somebody says something like, if we allow this, we're going to lose all of our freedoms. All of our freedoms are gone. The country is gone. All of that kind of talk like that. Be very attuned to when you hear that and very cautious when you hear that.
If you do not think about your sensory input, if you do not properly decode it, you arrive at the wrong conclusion. Flat earthers similarly arrive at the wrong conclusion by failing to decode evidence, indeed by simply ignoring a lot of evidence that their own senses deliver. This is evidence about how society and how science works. Whether we are scientists or not, we all constantly use this evidence to navigate life, and I'm sure flat earthers are no exception.
Number 8, hasty generalizations. And these are broad claims that are made with very little evidence. So the example is, 2 politicians lied, so all of them must be corrupt. So giant claim, tiny bit of evidence. 2 politicians might have lied, so they're all corrupt.
These controlled opposition's accusations do not speak for the entire Flat Earth community. You don't have to be a Jack Parsons to figure that one out.
Number 9 is huge. It's the red herring. So this distracts people with irrelevant information. You've heard this maybe as an example when somebody says, why are we worrying about climate change when we have so much crime going on right now? It's an argument of distraction. Number 10 is false equivalence.
All right, so anybody can go to these two websites, or any website really, and check out the AI detection software. This first one, I uploaded the video from McKeegan's, the first one that was uploaded, and it took like 8 still shots or whatever. Came back as multiple fake indicators, shows you the image manipulation. That 39% of it is manipulated, so they probably use some fake, some real. Here's this footage, or this picture, coming back as being AI, or not, or maybe computer generated, not necessarily AI, but tampered with. Same with this one. There's dozens of them that I put in here. I took a picture from my window to show what it looks like a real picture, just for as like a comparison, and obviously that came back with the green saying it's fine. So here's another one that's like the little tents from Jaren's chest cam footage. Got quite a bit of Jaren's chest cam footage that's fake. This one actually said that it looked legit, but then I noticed it looked like I didn't see a sun, I just saw the mountains there. So then I decided to crop, just zoom in, take the picture, just cropped out the sun, as you can see here, put that in, and all of a sudden, bam, computer generated modified image.
That's a very damaging one. I know there's a lot of information here, so I want to give you access to the actual tool that we use to identify psyops that even rates the likelihood on a 1 to 100 scale. And I'm going to add that into the description right below this video. But keep this in mind.